Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to Sound Advice, episode number 2. All right, this is the podcast where we give relevant advice every single week. I'm Marcus.
I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Kirsten.
All right, well, let's just get right into it, shall we? All right,
Okay,
so
we
first
shall.
thing we've got is our worst job experiences.
Oh boy.
So, I mean, let's see what we can talk about. We've got interviews, the job itself. What y'all want to start with?
I feel like we should start with interviews. That's the first step to a job.
True.
All right, so who here has actually had a bad interview?
Me? No, I've had 2 bad interviews. My first ever interview was at Johnny Rockets, which is like an old-fashioned little diner. And they actually like dance and everything. Like the waiters get together and dance and stuff. And I was like, this will be cool. Like I don't want to work in food service, but like dancing, fun. So I had an interview there, and it was like this really old lady who was interviewing me, and like I don't know, she was like very grumpy. Like she wasn't like a nice old lady. And I don't know, she was just really rude. But I think like at the end of it, she liked me, and I was like, okay, so I got the job, and she basically said yes. And then I went home, and they were like, oh, we serve alcohol here, and you didn't get the job because you're too young. And I was like, you could have told me that before.
Oh, she's a minor.
Yeah. And then even worse interview was at the local movie theater. I just wanted a job there because I like movies. And no, the interviewer, he had me sit in like the party room where like the kids go for birthday parties. And first of all, that setting was just like, why?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And no, he just comes in and sits, and like, I guess I wasn't prepared for the interview. I was just super nervous, and he just basically like said all these questions, and like he looked at me like I was an idiot as I was like answering, and I was like, oh no.
Dang.
And yeah, I basically knew I didn't get it coming out.
Yeah, that's horrible. Wait, like you talked about Johnny Rockets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that where we went when we went to Ocala?
Yep.
Yo, okay,
Actually,
okay.
I feel like that's a mediocre place to eat. So
It kind of is. It was cheap though.
They had some good songs there. I know they had like Earth, Wind, and Fire and whatnot over there. So that was
Right,
pretty
they have
cool.
the music. I was like, I can dance to this. I'll be
Yeah,
a
I don't remember
dancing
them
waiter.
dancing though. I don't
They didn't
remember
dance
them
when
dancing.
we were
Yo, I should have sued those suckers.
there. But no. What about you guys? You guys have any bad interviews?
Not really. Although I have to say, my mom definitely held my hand for a lot of them. So I remember my first job I got was at Florida Gulf Coast University, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was working in this place called the Small Business Development Center. Really cool place. It's where you help people start their small businesses or get them off the ground running. It was really cool. But anyway, I didn't even know that, I was going to have the job. Pretty much what happened was my mom was like, Marcus, put on some nice clothes. You got a job interview coming up. Like she really like literally arranged it for me and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so she just said, okay.
Did
so
she
I'm
apply
gonna,
for you?
yeah, she applied
What?
and everything for me. I mean, I was totally almost unaware of what was happening. So I just walked in and like my hands were straight shaking because I had no idea what was happening,
Mm-hmm.
I walk in there, the bosses are there, the supervisors and stuff, and they're just asking me questions and I'm just answering them to the best of my ability, and I ended up getting the job. But yeah, it was a really great job, so it was really cool. So if you got anybody who can hook you up like that, hey,
Yeah,
make it
connections are
happen.
great, but like, yeah, if you're going into an interview really nervous, it sucks.
Yeah, so my first job was Starbucks, and my aunt, it's on campus, and my aunt she went to Starbucks every day. She worked across the street, so she knew them really well, and she was just like, oh, my niece is coming here next year to go to school, so, if you need anybody. And then basically right then we were just saying hi, and then the boss guy was like, let's do the interview right now. And I never did an interview before that, and I wasn't dressed well at all, and it was like, I was like, oh, sure. Like, very nervous and everything.
Yo, you weren't dressed well? What were you wearing?
No,
like a
like
crop
tank
top?
top.
What?
Oh my god.
It was the middle of summer, and we were like, I came to visit her, and then she took me over there.
Oh.
And he's like, let's just do it now.
That
And,
is, that's horrible.
I mean, I feel like he, like, beforehand, because it's like a campus job, so a lot of times they just, like, let you work there
Yeah.
if you're decent. So,
I mean, it wasn't even a full shirt.
no, yes, it was. I said a tank top.
The tank top's not a full shirt.
Yeah, you call that a full shirt?
I mean, it's not my fault. I don't know.
oh my gosh. Yo, it's funny that you talked about the movie theaters though, Bona, because I think that was a job that almost every high school kid wanted. I mean, I always wanted to work in a movie theater. I still kind of do. I just thought it was really cool.
I've heard really bad things.
I
but-
mean, yeah, it's a very basic, it's not like anything spectacular, I imagine.
And I imagine you would like go through the aisles and like clean up throw up or like other bodily functions sometimes.
Yeah, well, not about that, but
And like trash, like people are just rude in movie theaters.
I mean, I want to be the guy who just sits in the front and just asks for, whatever ticket the guy wants. So that would be cool.
Oh, like at the front, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be the janitor.
See, that's what not the janitor, but like I was applying for like one of the positions where like you take tickets and then you clean up and
Yeah, not about that.
yeah, I'm really glad actually like in retrospect that I didn't get the job because I got my other job.
Well, yeah, I remember I also had an interview at the Health Science Center Library, which is where I'm working right now, and the interview went really well. One thing I can definitely say is that the employers, whoever's going to employ you, they are looking for something really specific usually in the interview process. And I kind of found what they were looking for during the interview, and that's really how I stood out to them. Because I remember they were saying, what qualities do you have to make you stand out? And I said, I'm punctual, I'm reliable. And they're like, whoa, you're punctual?
But,
and I was like, yeah, I'll make it to work on
I
time.
hope so.
but I feel like that's like
yeah.
a common trait like of all workers. Like everybody on their resume is like punctual and like you're supposed to stand
Yeah,
out
I
a little
mean,
more.
you better be punctual, sucker. You
That is
better be
important.
punctual. But yeah, I mean, I definitely like at the library, it was just something that they were really trying to stress because I guess a lot of the workers just wouldn't come to work on time because it was a library and I guess they thought it wasn't important. I don't know.
True.
All I know is that they were really happy to hear me say that. So they were just saying, hey, you got the job. You got the job. It's like, okay, cool. I didn't even say anything yet.
See, I had an interview at Chipotle, and it was a really like the best interview process I had. It was like one of the managers, and then it was the general like higher up manager, and then it was two workers that work there because their whole policy at Chipotle is if you work there, you have to approve of other people that are hired, basically. And usually they do that in different days, but they just did mine all at once, and it was really great. It was kind of like Marcus said, they were looking for very specific traits. And it's important before you go into a job or in an interview to research the company. Obviously, that's kind of basic, but just look it up on Google. Even there's like YouTube videos out on how to get hired at certain places, which actually really help. So just do research. And honestly, it made me feel way less scared going in there. And if you're just personable with them, kind of a lot of times, obviously, depending on the job, you're kind of joking around, stuff like that. It'll get you a long way in the interview.
Yeah. Also, like look up like common interview questions beforehand and have answers prepared. Like even write them out and try to memorize them because they're like so often reused, and it's very important that you like have a good answer that kind of fits the criteria.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I do remember there was a question that they gave me, and it was like a trick question, So my employer, she asked me, what would be your worst trait? Or what would be something that you say your worst trait would be? Something like that.
Yeah.
And, you don't actually say your worst trait because you will just not get the job. If you're out there saying something like, yeah, my worst trait is I'm really messy and I'm really I really hate talking to other people. I'm really antisocial. So if you hire me, I'm just not gonna talk to anybody or stuff like that. Like don't do anything similar to that.
But in that situation, I think you should try to frame it like as in you do have a problem, but you're trying to work on it because they like that progress. So like if you do hate people, just be like, I'm quiet, but like I'm really working on coming out of my shell and talking to people. So just pretend like you're working on it, even if you aren't.
That's a huge point. Like that question, just look up how to answer it because there's so many different ways out there. But make sure you end on a positive note with that question, rephrasing it as, but I'm working on that now and I think I've gotten better through the years. Here's an example of how I've gotten better with this job.
Hey, I don't know about y'all, but when I got asked that question, right, I answered it like a savage. So I went in there and they asked me the question, right? So I say, hey, I'd say my worst trait is I'm a perfectionist. And so that can really, I guess, conflict or be abrasive with other people who aren't perfectionists. And then, I can see why that would be a problem in the workplace because I want something to be done right. And not everybody wants it that way. So
I've actually
it
heard
is what it is.
that's a bad thing to say.
Hey, they loved it. They were like, oh.
I've heard advice and everyone says the perfectionist thing. I mean, if it works, it works. But try not to say that because I think for a lot of people, in my opinion, for a lot of people, it comes off as you're not going to get stuff done until it's perfect, which is not really what companies want. They just want it done. So
I mean, I'd say that like some level of professionality.
Yeah,
though.
but perfection is not going to be.
It depends on how you say it. Like if you say it like really cocky, like I'm a perfectionist, blah blah blah. Like I'm gonna like tune in on every single like minute detail. Then it's like okay, calm down. But I don't know. It could be seen as a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're right. But I answered it like a smooth operator, so they were all over it. You know, that's how I roll. You feel me?
Nope.
So how do you guys feel after an interview? Like, what do you guys
Terrible. Cry.
do? Oh,
I always feel pretty nervous, but I mean, at the same time, there was not an interview that I've gone to where they haven't told me before I left whether I got the job or not.
Nope. I never know.
Really?
Yeah.
it's not
That's
common to
horrible.
know.
Like I feel like sometimes you leave and you can have a good idea of whether or not you got hired.
Yeah.
But like, the only interview I've had where I knew I was getting the job was my current job, because the interview went really well. Like I really loved the guy interviewing me, Boss Greg, shout out. And he basically said like, "You like this place? Okay, like I'll email you." And I was like, "Cool."
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just some people are just better at it than others too. Like, don't be down on yourself if you genuinely just can't really interview well.
Yeah.
And it comes with practice, as many people say. And obviously, a lot of people just don't want to practice because they're already scared of it. But a lot of colleges and schools offer interview sessions where it's just a fake interview.
Mm-hmm.
And just that conversation where it's professional, but also one-on-one, it's really helpful. And for me, I usually feel pretty decent after an interview just because, I don't know. But I don't know, after an interview, I try not to think about it too much. Otherwise, you stress about how long it's going to take for them to get back to you, stuff like that. And I would say if it's a job, keep just applying. Don't make that your end all be all.
Yeah, like I said, like the movie theater job, like the interview was so bad, and I was like, I'm never gonna get a job. But then like I applied to a different place, and now I have my current job, which is a much better job. So
keep just
Yeah.
kind of brush it off. Once you're done, just brush it off and keep applying.
don't be discouraged. If anything, it's practice.
And if you get it, then you can get that job. And if you don't, you already have an application already sent in somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And don't say yes to two people, though, I would say.
Yeah. What about like job experiences in general though? Like, do you guys have any bad ones about like making mistakes in the workplace and then trying to fix it?
Oh, heck yeah. So I feel like one of my biggest mistakes, well, I guess, I don't even know what to call it. It's a mistake. But I would fall asleep at my job sometimes.
Marcus.
Yeah, that's terrible.
You're fired for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wouldn't be like for a long period of time, but it would definitely happen sometimes. I could feel myself dozing off. I'd be at the library or something, and then, I'm just looking around, and then I'm just asleep, So, yeah, it definitely, like, drink some coffee, do something that'll keep you awake. I would always, slap myself or something like that real quick before I would get, like, caught by my boss or something. So I never actually got caught dozing off, but it's happened a couple times.
You're fired.
See, I had a really, that's not that bad.
Yeah, that's mild.
Okay, so I have a bad situation at Starbucks. This is all customer related, but it was painful. So someone, actually, no, it was not customer related. A coworker who, it was her first day on the job, and she was doing the food area thing where you cook the food and you just go give it to the customer. And so she's doing that, I'm doing something else, and I happen to be right by where the people get the drinks, and this lady says, "Hey, excuse me, I think there's blood on this bag."
What?
Yes, like
What?
a food bag. I know nothing of what's happening because I'm just doing my own thing. And I'm like, you got that somewhere else? She says, "No, that was from here." So I look at, she's right. So I just take it back because I literally don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. I go to the back and I tell a manager, and she says, "Oh, just offer her a free food coupon thing." Because she was horrified as well, but that was not a situation we've ever.
I mean, was it like a lot of blood, or was it just a little?
If it's blood in general, though, it's blood. Like, ew.
Yeah, but like it's like a drop of blood.
No, it was decent. Like you could very easily tell.
That's whoa.
So okay, my boss though, it's never happened to her before, so the situation was very weird for her. Yeah. So I go and hand her this food card, even though this is not my problem at all, and she says, "No, that's okay." She was very sweet actually about it. Like she did not complain very much, which was surprising. She's like, "No, I don't think I want food from here," which was understandable.
Yeah.
So the girl that happened to was gone the next day.
Poor girl.
But like, I don't know. How do you do that?
I don't.
Your
know.
first day.
How do you bleed on the
How
bag?
do you serve it and like not?
Apparently, she just cut her finger and like
Did she not notice?
was stressed. I don't know the story about.
Come on, girl, get a Band-Aid, man.
But for me, I was like horrified.
It's
I'm like, where
disgusting.
did this come from?
Is that why they fired her though?
can
Yeah,
imagine,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a huge lawsuit, you know.
Yeah, I got some blood on my bag.
It was at least the outside of the bag though, right? Like not,
Yes,
okay, not
but
in the food.
How? I don't know. It's so terrible.
No, that's awful.
I got some blood on my coffee.
So think about twice if you want to work in food service. Personally, Starbucks was not even like food to me. Obviously, we were serving food, but
It wasn't food.
No, but no. I meant like because it's
Yeah.
drink based. I really, really love that job. If you like, you know how Marcus is saying like the library, he just kind of sits.
Yeah.
If that job suits you and you want to do homework, whatever, totally do that. But for me, I like being on my feet and serving people and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that job.
You're a servant.
Yes. It's fun to interact with people. So
yeah, it's fun to get the average customer to come back with a little blood on the bag.
Do you have?
Good
I have another story though. If you do, you have one.
I don't even have a bad experience story.
This is at my current job. I was kind of ish my early recordings, but I feel like not early enough to be doing this. But the training was a little weird. It was just kind of as you go along, you keep learning. And I recorded this 3-hour session, but without audio. So it was professors that came in and they recorded the video, and I just did not record the audio part. So they had to record 3 hours of this, and I was horrified. And don't do that.
What a disaster.
Luckily, I'm still there.
Yeah, I work at the same place, and like I've made minor mistakes like that, but not like a 3-hour session.
3
Hey.
hours. Oh
I'm
my
not
God.
like shaming you. Like it's an easy mistake.
No,
But
I've come to terms with that. I did that, but
it's a learning experience, though. Like now you know not to do that. To, like,
luckily it
double
was
check.
very nice clients too, who just
True.
came. They just came in and did it again. So, so on that aspect though, if you're doing a sit down job and stuff, your work is seen, I feel like meticulously.
Mhm.
You know, like technology based jobs, you really have to focus.
Yeah, make sure you don't make any mistakes like that.
Hey, at least I didn't put blood on a bag.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You did not risk the customer's life.
Exactly. No one's lives was at risk.
True. Well,
I'm trying to think if there was any actual really bad experiences that I had, working at any job that I've had. And I just can't think of any right now. I mean, they were all really straightforward and chill. So
for me, like I worked at the newspaper, and the only bad part about that was like we did not get paid at all. Like we got paid like $10 a night, and nights were like 8 or 9 hours. And one night I worked election night, which is where like results don't come out for the local elections till like midnight, and then everybody has to write the stories and like get pictures and gather them all together. And I didn't get home till like 4 or 5 a.m. at the newspaper, getting paid $10 a night, and it was just so rough.
yeah, that shouldn't be legal.
That isn't
I
legal.
don't know why
That
it's
should
not
not be legal.
like I enjoyed the job experience, and I'm not saying anything bad about like anything that I learned there, but like their payment was so bad.
I feel like that's not legal, but it's like the whole college thing of like internships. Do it for the experience.
Literally,
And
that
they
was my
just-
mindset. So
No, yeah, especially when you're a freshman, like you're like whatever.
yeah, I was like,
Nah,
what's
they
this?
ripped you off, girl.
They did.
See, at the time, I probably would have done the same thing. I'd been like, oh, whatever. You know, it's just
I feel like it got me a long way. Like I've gotten connections with that. And
yeah, for sure.
so many positions. So I mean, sometimes you got to suffer, but
A good quote by Kelsey.
sometimes you have to suffer.
Sometimes you gotta suffer. Kelsey Bona, 2017.
It's true though.
All right then.
All right, so yeah, just the job thing. If you just with the application thing, just keep going. If you don't get one job, it's not personal. Just keep going.
Learn from your mistakes.
You'll get a job eventually.
All right, yo, but what about, we got to the beginning. What about the end of the job?
Quitting.
So if you're going to get rid of your job, formally resigning, quitting, whatever you want to call it, how do y'all do that?
I feel like in a standard job you would do like the 2 weeks resignation. But I feel like a lot of bosses can be intimidating, and like you don't want to like upset them and be like, I'm leaving. So that's kind of a weird thing. But I mean, yeah, just that standard way.
I mean, have y'all ever quit any jobs?
Kirsten Clark?
Starbucks, it was easy because it was during the school year. So after I was done with summer A, I was just saying, oh, I'm not returning in the fall. which a lot of people did. So it really that wasn't a big deal at all. And then Chipotle, first of all, I only got this as a summer job. Like I knew that I didn't want to stay there. And that was already nerve-wracking to me because I would hate to like be like, all right, 2 weeks. Like the whole process seems scary to me. But my boss is very sweet and everything. But one day I was, on the line or whatever. And then this customer calls and says, I'm in the hospital because there was chicken in my veggie bowl and I have an ulcer.
Oh, snap.
Which I don't think that's how that works. But anyways, so basically he called us back one by one and was like, hey, this happened. Make sure, you're watchful and stuff. And I knew for a fact, like, I did not put the meat in this bowl. Like, I really was sure. And then like an hour later, the other manager says, all right, Kirsten, you can go home early. And yeah, obviously, like, that means, to me, that meant, oh, you did it. So I was like upset and everything. So I just left.
Just quit from right there.
Yep, I did. Just because I know I should. I mean, looking back, it's whatever. Because I was going to quit eventually. But the hours and the money was not, I don't know. I had this whole battle in my head of like, is this really worth it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I quit then just because to me, I felt like they were blaming me for this. And then later we were talking like email. And the boss was like, oh, we weren't sending you home for that. We needed to cut time because we didn't do too well today.
Yeah. A bunch of excuses.
The manager was supposed to ask one of you or someone else who wanted to go home early. It's like, no, because he sent me home. He didn't say, like, who wants to go home early. So it's just kind of a bunch of red flags for me. I would never quit a job like that again just because, like, it was very stressful. And you don't want to break ties like that, if you don't have to. Now I can never go to Chipotle there again.
Uh-oh.
But
Yo, it's crazy, though, because, I mean, Chipotle and Moe's, two very similar places and two very similar stories. It wasn't me who ever worked at Moe's, but, one of my best buddies, Anthony Sanchez, that guy,
What?
he used
He
to
worked
work
at
at
Moe's?
Moe's. Yeah.
I don't see that.
Yeah. It was 2 years ago, my freshman year.
Oh.
He used to work at Moe's. And,
Here in campus?
yeah, the one
Wow.
right here on campus, yeah. Right next to the Chompet.
That's funny.
Yeah, he used to work there, and he said one day, like, they were really close to closing. It was really close to closing time, right? And this huge swarm of people just came in at the same time, and they were just, being really rowdy and stuff, and he just hated it. And then he just quit on the spot.
Oh my
Just like,
God.
I can
quit.
see him doing that.
This is like, I'm done.
True.
It's like, this wild. There's something about those places over there. Something about Moe's and Chipotle, I guess.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's kind of weird though. Like it wasn't prompted by anything.
Yeah, he was just tired of it. He just had to get out of there.
See, I couldn't do that. Like, I almost didn't quit. Basically, like it was always a back and forth. But I don't know. Some people like if they're fed up, they're fed up.
No, Anthony's very strong-willed. Like, I don't want to make this about him, but, like, one time I was at this meeting with him, and people were, like, staying after to clean up, and he was, like, really hungry, and he hadn't slept for, like, a long time, and they were like, Anthony, I think you should stay, and they were, like, pulling him aside and, like, lecturing him, and he was like, no, I'm gonna go, and I was like, dang, like,
Hey,
I
that's
could
my
never
boy.
do that. I would have stayed and just, like, been complacent.
Yeah, that is my boy, man. The iron will.
I
It just
support that
depends on the
attitude.
situation and stuff. I feel.
I can also be very unprofessional, though, but, like, sometimes you gotta stand up for yourself.
Yeah, man, gotta do what you gotta do. Now, personally, I don't remember any jobs that I had to give any like 2-week resignation to. I mean, most jobs that I started that were, especially seasonal, they would know pretty much from the get go when I was leaving. So
That's good. That's a good idea. Because for my Chipotle interview, they're like, because I was like, oh, go to UF, blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, you're planning on going back? And I just, at that moment, I was like, no, I'm probably going to take a semester off, which I knew I was not going to do.
Yeah.
So basically the whole time working there, I felt bad.
lying.
So like, don't ever just go into there like already setting yourself up for something. Just be like, actually, I do plan on leaving in 2 months.
That's fair.
I mean,
Although I
that's
have
my
heard-
that's my personal thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be honest, but I did hear some stories about how people clutched some jobs by like pretty much pretending like they weren't going to go back
That's
to
true.
school, and then they just, be like, oh, my financial aid dropped. It looks like I can go back to school.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We have a friend who does that, like, every summer.
It depends how you feel about the company. If you really don't care and you think they kind of go through people enough as it is, then, do it if it benefits you.
I think sometimes, like, our friend's mindset is Like he wants that connection after working there, and like if you just like quit after a couple months and they know you're gonna quit, then they're like, okay, screw this guy. But like if you're like, oh, I have to go back to school now, like I'm gonna get my life together, they're like, oh, okay, I'll like write you a recommendation letter or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like leaving on
a good
much
note.
better note.
Yes.
Okay, and it's almost like a I don't really want to leave, but
I have
things have
to.
things have come up, so I gotta go. you
Yeah,
know?
so a lot of people do that,
But to me, like he I feel like for some of those, he told the people he'd come back maybe, and I
true.
feel like that's a bad idea. Don't lead on the company, especially if it's a letter of rec and they're gonna call them up. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like they forget you ever said that after.
Yeah,
a
but
while.
if it's a new job and they call that person, and they're like, oh yeah, they are good. They were a good employee, but they never came back. So
true.
They promised to come back. They never kept their word.
I don't know.
also I would never put that on my resume as someone to contact. If it's a job shorter like that short, I would never do that.
That's true.
Like personally.
Sometimes you need it though, depending on your situation.
Yeah, if you got no other job
Yeah,
experience.
but like a summer job, I don't think that's worth putting on there because they see the dates and they're like, okay, 2 months you work there.
True. But all right, guys, should we move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so our next segment is going to be a little bit political, which a lot of people are probably tired of. But here on the UF campus, the other day there was a Nazi. He was wearing a swastika on his arm. He was pretty much provoking people. He was doing like the Nazi salute a couple times. And there's basically a big protest. And what we kind of wanted to address was like, first of all, why was he there? And second of all, like, what are our feelings on it? And what should you do if you have people who are like, people who are Nazi sympathizers or, just terrible people.
It can be broad though, like someone who's does microaggressions, It doesn't have to be like full out Nazi.
Well, yeah. But like, it's the times of today.
Well, that guy was... Personally, I always thought he was joking. Like, I thought he was just a troll, Because like, the way I saw it, because, he was in Torrington Hall, which is just this really open plaza. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't see him saying anything. Like, I expected him to do something if he really, believed what he was talking about. So I just thought he was a troll, just trying to stir up some nonsense. But, yeah, apparently he actually was a troll. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was some interview with the guy, and he was just saying it was a social experiment.
He kept saying that, but I think that was kind of like a cop-out. Because obviously, I mean, if you're willing to put yourself in that position and stand up there and, like, wear what you're wearing, then I think you believe some of it.
He also said the Holocaust didn't happen, so
yeah,
I think he can frame it that way, but I think some level of him obviously believes in that.
Yeah, you know what's wild? Some people actually say that. Like, there's like a real hate group around. I checked on the hate group map. It's actually really crazy. Like, Google America hate group map. Yeah, have you seen that?
So many. It's scary.
Yeah, there's tons of hate groups in America. I mean, I don't want to scare nobody, but it's
just
out there.
I mean, it's the reality.
Yeah, it's out there. But yeah, like one of the hate groups is this group that's like talking about how the Holocaust didn't happen. Mm-hmm. People who just deny the Holocaust, and it's just wild. I mean, they're just saying, yeah, Hitler didn't do this, and the Germans didn't do that, and the Nazis didn't do this, and it's wild.
Yeah, and like even other groups, like not even just anti-Jew, but like racist groups and like people against LGBT rights and all this stuff. Like, there's so many people who have been like brought out into the public eye, mostly because of this most recent election. Yeah, but like if you know somebody who doesn't share your opinion on that subject, like what would you guys do?
I think it's interesting coming to college versus high school because me and Kelsey went to a pretty conservative high school, and I learned in high school kind of personally, I just bit my tongue because those kind of people, I didn't really care about their opinion because I knew what they already thought, and I knew it wouldn't change. But I think college is a lot different. It's funny because I feel like you meet someone, you become friends with them, and then something comes out that they say that you realize, like, oh, okay, I don't agree with that. So it's a hard line of like, how close do you want to be with that person? Do you want to not talk to them completely? Like, what does the issue mean to you?
Right. So even like on Facebook, if I have people added who I was friends with in the past, but now they're posting like all these very conservative things that I personally don't believe in, then I'm just like, okay, unfriend. But like sometimes people who are close to you can be that way too. Like personally, my family is very conservative, scary conservative, and it's hard to deal with sometimes. But
Yeah, I mean, I'd say if you're gonna be dealing with people who are or who have just views that you don't share, I mean, first off, I'd say, I mean, try to work it out. Like, nobody's gonna agree on everything, so you know, try to work it out. But at the same time, I mean, if they have views that you just really cannot ever, sympathize with, then you just have to, I guess, slowly stop being their friend, or I guess maybe slowly just stop communicating with them.
Yeah.
Like, be an acquaintance, but just don't do any more than that, I guess.
Again, it depends on the issue. If someone's a Nazi, I would never be friends with them. And it's an interesting thing of like what do you personally care about? And
yeah, it's like morality is really hard because, I mean, we all personally think that whatever we believe is right, but I mean, there's no real moral judgment book that we all have to follow. And, so like, and people have their own amendment rights to believe and say whatever they want to believe and say and all that stuff. So, I mean, I can't really infringe on that. All I can do is say, hey, this is how I feel about it. So this is how we going to be about it.
true. I feel like it's important to open up like a conversation and at least try to inform them of like, hey, this is maybe why you're wrong, at least in my eyes. And I don't know, just talking to them sometimes can help, but sometimes people are so stubborn and they don't want to be told like that their opinion is invalid.
Well, and these opinions are their entire lives. They've had them.
Yeah.
So that's a huge deal for people to have their friends say, that's not right, that you're thinking that your whole life. And I'm not saying like, oh, it's tough, I'm not excusing them for these things, but if it's a very good friend and they're willing to listen to you and they're like, at the end of it, they're like, okay, I never thought of it like that. I feel like you've had success in that situation.
Yo, funny you say that though, because I feel like that's what we should have been doing with the neo-Nazi guy that showed up on campus. Like, the way that we responded to him, I personally just thought it was ridiculous because I was like, the way that we're just, everybody crowded around the guy, right? And they're all yelling in his face and just screaming their chants and stuff about how he needs to get off the campus or whatever. His hate needs to stop. And I think, what they're saying is right. Like, hate should stop. But like at the same time, I feel like the way they did it just isn't going to be effective. I mean, you yelling in the guy's face isn't going to make him want to change his mind. I feel like if anything, it'll make him more stubborn in his ways.
See, I think it wasn't even about him. I think it showed that it wasn't about disrespecting him or yelling in his face. I think it was more of a way to show the campus and, whoever's watching that we're against Nazism. We're not going to stand for something like that.
Yeah, like protests aren't necessarily to like change the person's mind, but it's like to come together and unify and be like, hey, as a group, we all kind of have each other and we can be against this together. And like nobody's alone and nobody's going to be like ostracized by this one man who's trying to like start a fight. And like protests have historically been like very significant, and to say like they have no impact, I think is incorrect.
I mean, I'm not saying they got no impact. I'm just saying we need to, like, if we're going to protest, we should at the same time also have a way to talk with the dude or the chick, whoever, so they can see from a more logical standpoint, like, hey, this is why we feel this way, and maybe we can come to an agreement on stuff,
I can see that.
I think that guy specifically, though, was never going to open a conversation.
Yes.
He didn't say anything in his entire however many hours he was out there. I get your point. I really do get your point, and especially, like, with different issues, but, like, I feel like Nazism is just too far to even try and conversate about.
Yes.
Because the history's there and, like, openly there compared to other histories. So I think situations like that, you don't have to feel obliged to have a conversation with them.
I agree.
So yeah, if you knew someone similar, would you guys ever not? Well, you said unfriend.
Yeah. Like people like my family, like I can't unfriend them.
Right.
And you kind of just have to tolerate them, or again, try to educate them. But they don't like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I know I got my family, and a lot of them are very, stuck on some views that I don't personally agree with. But I mean, I just personally say, hey, like, you feel that way, and that's cool. I feel this way, and that's cool. And, I still love y'all. Y'all my peoples. So it's all good. But just know that, if we're ever talking about that certain situation, we're just not going to agree.
True.
So we just don't.
Some people take it very personally, though. Like, if I disagree with one of my family members, they're like, oh, you're basically an idiot and you're betraying us, which is really strange to me because you should be able to have your own opinion, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird with the family, The family is always, they're always there for you and they want the best for you.
Right.
And so if they feel like their opinions on things are right and your opinion differs from theirs, I mean, they're trying to tell you, hey, our opinion's right, so, listen to this because we care about you and stuff. But just sometimes it just doesn't add up, Sometimes their opinion just doesn't match with yours, and you just kind of sit with it.
And honestly, with family, in my perspective, if you just kind of don't bring up those topics, I mean, I guess I know the whole conversation thing, but like if you know that they will not change their mind, a lot of times I think it's just easier to just be happy together than like stressed or have tension in the room, stuff like that, especially if you don't see them that often. Like I totally get the conversation, but sometimes for me, it's just easier to like talk about different things.
No, that's exactly how I feel about it. Like a lot of close family, love them to death. They
don't see them that much, you just want to enjoy the time.
See, y'all ain't in my family. Like they will bring it up night and day, talk about it.
Well, that's different. Yeah. Bringing it up, Yeah. Like I wouldn't personally bring it up if someone else brought it.
I usually don't. They bring it up and like they kind of gather together and they're like, oh, like this is our opinion, haha. And I'm just like, ooh, no. And I kind of simmer and then I'm like, you guys are wrong, actually.
That's when you just start a straight up fight. Start fighting.
That's our family.
Just start throwing some fists.
All right, guys. Should we move on to later topics?
Let's do it.
All right. So after all that, last topic here: things we wish we knew before high school. Is that?
It was like during high school.
During high school. High school times. What do you wish you knew?
What do I wish I knew? I wish I knew how college worked, first of all.
That's true.
My
I
gosh.
was so confused
Literally
about
no
college.
clue. Yeah.
I mean, completely clueless. And just, I'd say that's my number one. I remember I applied to the University of Florida, and that was the only school I applied to because that's the only school I knew of. And, half of that's ignorance.
That's funny.
Yeah, half of that was ignorance.
That's the opposite.
But it was just because, like, they were like, oh, yeah, this is the number one school in the state. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll apply there, whatever. Just glad I got in. I would have been a mess if I didn't get in.
Yeah, I applied here in USF, and I applied here like the last day because for some reason I was like, there's no way I would get in here. And I think it's because growing up, my parents were obsessed with the Gators and stuff. So, like, to me, it was like this hierarchy thing.
Go Gators.
But I did it on the last day, and here I am.
See, I was kind of the opposite of you guys. Like, I was very obsessed with college since, like, middle school. And even in high school, like, one of the things I wish I knew back in high school was, like, college isn't going to be everything. Like, I just hyped it up. I would always go to, like, these conferences and, like, learn all about these colleges. And I wanted to go to, like Vanderbilt and Berkeley and blah, blah, blah. And, like, I applied to those places.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I had such a strong idea of what college would be that when I got here, it was such, like, a clash of my opinions. And I was like, oh, this isn't, like, what I imagined. Even though, like, I knew kind of what you're saying, like, you didn't know about college. Like, I knew, like, too much about college. And I think it kind of altered my perspective.
That's interesting. Because I like Marcus said, I literally knew nothing. Like, I don't think I ever knew what the word fraternity was or anything.
Yeah, I had no clue.
Right?
First off, didn't know that there was a difference between fraternity and sorority,
What?
right?
I knew nothing
Didn't
about
know
that.
there was a difference. Didn't know what credits were. I mean, I didn't know anything.
Yeah,
So it
like
was
coming in,
insane.
I was like, oh, credits. I have these ACE things. I don't know if they apply. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah, I had no idea, like, course codes, didn't know any of that stuff, applying for classes, anything. I mean, I was completely clueless.
I think it's sad because I would have dual enrolled if I knew more about college.
I dual enrolled.
Yeah,
Oh, excuse me.
I took too many classes.
But Kelsey's she could have graduated like a year before me. Like that. Like, I really wish I dual enrolled and got all of those things way cheaper and out of the way earlier.
Very true.
I'm not saying I enjoyed my 4 years a lot, and what I took was really actually cool and stuff. But, like, from a financial standpoint, just, I think that's a really good option.
Yes. If you have, like, dual enrollment or, like, going to your local community college for really cheap, then I suggest you do that if you're a high school student.
I mean, it works for most people who actually try to do it. I know I got mad homies who did dual enrollment and stuff like that, and they're out there just saving money, getting credits. I mean, What can I say?
See, I did high school, though, like normal high school with dual enrollment. So I was taking like 9 classes at one time in high school, which is like crazy.
God dang, girl.
Yeah. But like it gave me a lot of credits. Like I didn't have to take science classes in college. Like and Marcus took this dumb dinosaur class last semester that he hated. but
Don't take
That's my class, man.
dinosaur
I
class.
took it in dual enrollment, and it was much easier because it was in my local community college. And I was like, hey, let's go.
Yeah, anybody here at the University of Florida, public service announcement right now. Do not take Age of Dinosaurs. Worst class.
Or
period.
wildlife issues, because it's the same program.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow.
Literally
So
on the
bad.
buying screen it says, or you can buy Age of Dinosaurs.
That's amazing.
Yeah, never, ever. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I enjoyed it.
Such a waste of time. Like the tests are not even, they're just multiple choice on your computer with no one watching you.
No, I had to take it through Proctor U.
Ooh,
Really?
Yeah, I had to take it through
Okay, I
Proctor
didn't
U.
have to.
It was so messed up.
That's rough.
Jeez. Anyway,
What else do you wish you knew besides college?
The people you don't like are not going to matter the second you leave high school.
True.
Like the popular kids, like, I don't know. I feel like I was very bothered by them in high school, and I was like, these people are all terrible. And now I'm just like, they don't even pass my mind.
okay. We got some haters in the world for Kelsey over here.
No, for me, it was very interesting because kind of more, definitely more in middle school. I was like obsessed with, wearing the right kind of stuff. Like I was actually that person, was very worried about that stuff. And then finally, like, high school and kind of towards the end, I realized I was just having fun with my specific friend group, who I guess at the time was like more of the cool group or whatever. So outside of like the pop, I don't know, it was a weird hierarchy in my school, but I totally agree. Like these people that you see in your class every day that like say annoying things, you're like, now you don't have to follow them.
Yeah. Even in terms of drama, like there was so much high school drama, at least for me and Kirsten. And I feel like now it's just like, why were we like
I don't even
that?
know what drama is anymore.
Yo, I want to hear one good story.
Someone start
What's
up some
one
drama.
good drama story from high school?
There's too much.
It's not even fun drama. It's like sad drama.
It's like traumatizing drama.
Dang, what?
You don't want to know.
I mean, like, there was almost no drama, at least for me,
What?
Dude.
during high school, until my senior year. Like, my senior
That's
year,
us.
it all started kind
True.
of popping
Senior
off.
year was
you know?
like wild.
Yeah.
I don't even remember freshman through junior year.
Same though.
Yeah, I just remember, like, I was friends with almost everybody in my class all the way until my senior year. And then senior year, people just started dropping like flies. I was like,
Really?
what? I mean, I don't even remember changing. I just feel like people just started saying, "Yo, like this guy, yeah, he's not our friend."
What?
And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, whatever. But I always have my little squad, so it's always lit.
See, like Kirsten mentioned ACE before, and that's like this accelerated program type thing. And I feel like every kid in that group in our school was like pretty close, and we all knew each other because we all had the same classes. But like senior year, we did kind of like separate into different little groups.
Yeah, like for me, there was the Hispanic ladies. They always separated into their little squad. They had their little clique. There are the band freaks, and unfortunately, yeah, I was one of them.
That's so funny to me. I would never know that.
Right though.
Yeah. I mean, I was in the marching band and the jazz band, and like I had all my homies who used to do that too. Who else was there? There was there's the cheaters. I mean, the actual people who just cheated their way through Cambridge. I mean, that was just hilarious. Like, there's this one guy, right? He had these 2 twins as friends, right? And they would do all the cheating for him. Like, he would take tests, like we'd be in Spanish class, and these 2 Hispanic girls, twins, would just cheat for him on a test. Like, I was like, how did this guy get these 2 girls to cheat for him on these tests? Like, they must have been in love with that dude.
Our high school valedictorian, like, wasn't there a scandal with like her cheating?
Yes, she cheated on a test, but apparently, I mean, I don't know the details, but apparently because her parents donated to the school,
Oh, yeah,
she
yeah.
didn't get kicked out. It was a huge thing.
It was like people were upset about it.
Yeah, you got them parents who make that financial donation, and then everything kind of gets covered up, don't it?
True.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, my parents definitely wouldn't do that because we ain't got no money to donate.
Yeah, my daughter would be like, "Screw you."
If anything, my pops or my mom be like, yeah, if y'all trying to donate to us, yeah, go ahead and make your donations now.
True. All right. Other stuff we wish we knew.
Nope.
I feel like, I don't know. Obviously, like savoring the moments would be nice. Like, you don't realize how nice high school is till you leave.
Yeah, savor the moments. Like anything that sounds like fun, like do it. Yeah, definitely do it. Like I remember my senior year was one of my favorite times in high school because I just had so much fun hanging out with friends. I mean, almost every day I used to hang out with this guy named Tyler Smithwick. Yo, shout out my boy. I hope you listen to this right now. Anyway,
Send this part.
yeah, he would always like invite us over to his house, and we'd be playing Mario Kart, ordering pizza. And at first it was like a every Friday type thing because we were all in the band, and then we would go to the football games after we go to his house.
That's cute.
So it was cool, but then we just had so much fun. We would just hang out every day.
Yeah.
And that ended up happening for the whole semester.
Yeah, your senior year, just hang out with as many people as possible.
Yeah.
You'll get your homework done and all that. Like, you really will. Because high school, too, I had so much easier of a time of getting homework done and then, like, having free time. Like, now I feel like I have homework 24/7.
Yeah.
But high school is the time to, do it last minute
True.
because they don't matter that much.
It
And
really doesn't. Like, again, grades, not that important.
if you do more extracurricular stuff, that I feel like that matters a lot more to colleges
Yeah.
now.
I mean, honestly, I did almost zero work in high school.
Right?
Zero. I mean, I remember sitting in class doing the homework the day it's due.
Yep.
The teacher's watching me do the homework. And I
Teachers
still
do
just
not
turn
care.
it in.
They're just like, hurry up, okay, then you can turn it in.
But no, like, even, like, me and Kirsten, like, we had so many free periods during the day. Like, I don't even know if we went to class. Like, we would just have free periods, and we would leave campus, and we would just, like, go hang out at, like, a park. And then after school, when school ended, for some reason, we'd come back to campus, and then leave again and hang out after school. Or we had, like,
Campus
clubs.
was fun.
Like,
I
we had,
liked
like,
it.
acting and, like, academic team. Like, all that stuff.
And those are basically excuses to just hang out with people.
Right?
So even if you don't think you're into something, just join it. Like, acting was really fun. And I mean, my school, it depends on your schools. My school was very laid back with stuff like acting. Some schools are very rigid. But just join something to just do something after school with people.
See, that's what I wish I knew, like, earlier years. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't join stuff till, like, junior, senior year. Like, I wish I knew that, like, freshman year.
For sure, I agree. All right, guys. Should we answer our submitted question?
Yes. Very excited about this one.
All right, so what is it? What is it?
Kirsten?
Oh,
Yeah, waiting on you, girl.
let me find it. Hold on.
But we can preface this by saying this is submitted by listener, Anna F. Thank you for submitting, Anna.
Yeah, thank you
So
very much,
sweet.
Anna. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, this is kind of a strange question, but here we go. Public bathrooms are gross, and I've always been afraid of using them. How do I get over this fear?
So, Anna, I feel you. Public bathrooms are pretty
Marcus,
gross.
put that flush toilet noise in now.
Perfect.
That was terrible. That was horrible.
I don't know. That's a strange fear, though. Like, I get public bathrooms are disgusting, but I don't know. Just,
Okay, so here's the first thing.
Yeah.
I know everything you need to do. First things first. Anytime you're going to use the bathroom, especially for you ladies, since y'all actually sit down, right?
Yeah, that's the bad part.
Get that toilet paper.
I hate
and,
this question.
Yo, you cover the toilet seat because that's just nasty. And then for you fellas out there, I mean, it don't really matter for y'all because, y'all don't even have to touch anything. So, but that's number one. Number two, wash everything. Wash your hands, wash your arms.
Your
I mean,
arms.
wash your very arms.
Take a shower.
Wash your face there, too.
Yeah, just wash everything possible because it's nasty.
All right, but, like, honestly, I don't know a lot about guy bathrooms, and this isn't the question, but, like, Marcus,
Yeah.
guy bathrooms, like, how are they?
Well, I don't know about women's restrooms, but I assume that they're nicer than guys' restrooms because
You'd be surprised.
guys are nasty, man.
You don't-
First off, like the guys always miss the toilet, so like there's always just urine all over the floors. It's just
Mhm.
it's just a mess.
Is
man.
there, like, splashback?
Yeah. Oh, it's
That's
just
it, okay.
it's not nice.
Kirsten's
Like public
not having
bathrooms are
this.
nasty. But you know what's actually crazy though is like there was some commercial that I saw. I forget.
Uh-huh.
I think it was a commercial or some public service announcement. I don't know. But they were saying that even private bathrooms, like your own bathrooms in your homes, can be just as dirty
Yeah, they're
as
disgusting.
your public bathroom.
Kelsey's like, mine is.
But no, generally bathrooms are gross.
Yeah, girl, it's not a weird fear. Everyone's scared of bathrooms. I don't know about
It's
you. No.
not true.
The best piece of advice is to hold it until you get back to your home.
That's true. But
That's
sometimes you
healthy.
can't. It's not healthy.
Okay. Coming to college, I had this breakthrough revelation that no bathroom of mine was private because I lived in a dorm, and it was the worst thought of my life.
We had communal
Like,
bathrooms.
what a terrible thing to go through that you don't have any private bathroom. So as soon as you're out of that dorm, get an apartment with your own bathroom,
Yes.
and you'll feel a lot better about your life.
It was funny for me because, I mean, didn't and I still don't care. I mean, I really have, like, no privacy, and I just never cared. I mean, but I know that it might be different for me than for you guys, but, like, I never had any space in my dorm, so, like, you know, people would always walk in on me doing whatever, whether I'm, like, you know, sleeping or whether I'm doing homework, whether I'm playing with friends, I don't know, whatever. So, like, I mean, I'd never have any privacy, but it never really bothered me. And it was the same with the bathrooms. Like, you know, we'd all had to share them, but, like, it never actually bothered me. Only thing that kind of sucked was having to wait for people who were there if I was trying to go and they were, like, taking the stalls and stuff. That was the only thing that sucked for me.
See, I feel like girls kind of have a different experience because they kind of do more in the bathroom, I think. Like, they gotta, like, shave their legs. Sometimes it's not a good time of the month. Sometimes you gotta put on makeup, you gotta do your hair. You're, like, always in the bathroom as a girl. And I think even, like, public bathrooms or, like, communal bathrooms, like, I don't know. For girls, it's different. Like, you want your privacy when you're, you know, putting yourself together.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, I'm always in and out, you know?
Yeah.
So that's just what it is for me. I can see how y'all got it a little different.
Yeah. But in terms of just regular public bathrooms, which is what Anna is asking, I think, just try to be tidy. Like, if the bathroom's disgusting, like, do what Marcus said. Like, put some toilet paper on the seat.
Use another one.
Use a different
Another
stall.
one.
Another one.
The answer is know that you're going to be in public and go before and after, period. Go before you get there and then go after you're back home.
But if you can't, just try to be tidy. Carry some hand sanitizer. Wash your hands.
Yeah, carry
Be clean.
some hand sanitizer and some what do they call that? Some Febreze.
Breathe.
Carry some Febreze. For because them bathrooms be rank.
All right. Anyways,
Kirsten did not participate like at all.
because that was awful. I think that was a good question, though, guys. Thanks, Anna F.
Yeah, thanks, Anna.
Really deep question. So, guys, I think we're set. We're done.
We're wrapping up.
Completed. Sorry, listeners. I know you want to hear us forever,
We're so charming.
but we gone. So,
Until next week,
I'm Kirsten.
I'm Kelsey.
And it's your boy Marcus.
Signing out.
Bye.
Peace.
See ya.